boys and girls, and welcome to Grandma Teresa's story time. As you can see, I'm ready for bed. So, wherever you live, it could be bedtime, or if it's daytime, it could be nap time. So, I am going to read a bedtime story. The title, The Striped Scarf. One frosty afternoon, Mr. Bear came in for lunch, rubbing his paws. "It's so cold out there," he said. "I thought my ears would fall off." Barney looked anxiously at his father's ears, but they looked fine. "What I need," said Mr. Bear carelessly, knowing that his birthday was just a few weeks away, "is a nice long scarf to wrap around my neck and my ears." Just as carelessly, Mrs. Bear asked her husband, "Is there any particular way that you would like the scarf to look?" "Well, it should definitely be red," said Mr. Bear. "I've always looked good in red." Over the next few days, Barney noticed that his mother's work bag was more bulging than usual, and just occasionally he caught sight of a tiny strand of red wool. Mrs. Bear was right on schedule until the day that Miss Bouquet in the flower shop complimented Mr. Bear on the blue sweater he was wearing. "You know," said Mr. Bear later, "I think if I were to have a scarf, it should probably be blue." Mrs. Bear groaned. It was too late to start again, but Barney had an idea. "What about stripes?" he suggested. Well, that was a good idea, especially since, over the next few days, Mr. Minham commented on how much he liked Mr. Bear's yellow shirt. Mr. Leaf asked where he could get a green tie just like Mr. Bear's. And Barney, without thinking, asked if he could borrow his father's orange woolly hat. Mrs. Bear made several trips to the wool shop, and her work bag was soon more bulging than ever. On his birthday morning, Mr. Bear felt a little anxious. What if his hints had gone unnoticed? He needn't have worried. Not only did he open the biggest scarf you have ever seen, but it was the longest too. "I think we're going to have to share this," laughed Mr. Bear. "Look, it's long enough to wrap around the whole family." Look at that scarf. A lot of colors, just like in the rainbow. My goodness. Do you drop suggestions and ideas about your birthday before it arrives? I bet you do. I know I do. Let's do one more story. This one's titled Paws with Patches. One day in a storybook, Cleo saw a picture of a bear with patches on his paws. She ran to her mother at once. "Oh, please tell me, what has happened to this poor bear's paws? They've got bits and pieces sewn all over them." Her mother was busy working out her finances, but she glanced at the book and smiled. "Oh, that's nothing to worry about. It's just a bear who has done a lot of work with his paws, so they have worn out. A kind friend has sewn some patches on for him. Now hurry along and set the table for me. I must add these figures up before we eat." But Cleo didn't help her mother. She folded her arms and sat down in a chair. A few minutes later, her mother looked up. "Will you do as I ask, Cleo, please?" "No," said Cleo. The older bear could hardly believe her ears. Even Cleo's little brother looked up from where he was playing on the floor. Cleo was usually such a good little bear. "Well, will you go and get your father?" Cleo's mother tried again. "No," said Cleo. Why do you think Cleo is telling everyone no when they ask her to do something? Let me read on and find out. And it was a scene for the rest of that day and that evening and the next morning too. Cleo wouldn't pass things at the table. She refused to help wash the dishes. She wouldn't even help to bathe her little brother, which she usually loved. And in the morning, she wouldn't help with breakfast at all. Cleo went to nursery school and came back with a note from the teacher to say that she had been difficult and quite unlike her usual self. "Sit down, Cleo," said her mother. "We need to have a serious talk." It wasn't very long before Cleo explained everything. "I just don't want my paws to wear out," she said, "so I'm saving them." Cleo's mother laughed. "I'm surprised about that," she said, "considering how much most bears want patches on their paws." "Do they?" "Oh, yes. It's like wearing a medal. It shows what a long and useful life you've led," explained her mother. Well, ever since then, Cleo has been a very helpful little bear, though her paws look perfect to me. My, wasn't that a nice story? It was, wasn't it? Ooh, I guess it's that time, isn't it? It looks like my bear and I are going to be heading to bed now. What about you? Till next time, stay safe. Bye now.